What is up, everyone? I got a big review for you right here because it's time to talk Stranger Things 4. This is my review of the first 7 episodes of the new season, the ones that are dropping on May 27th. Have no fear with this review. It is totally spoiler-free. Safe space, I promise. First, a very brief synopsis for you, all things that are revealed in the promotional campaign for the show. The survivors are trying to move forward after what happened at the mall during their encounter with the Mind Flayer, but some of them are having a harder time than others. Making matters even more challenging, a new evil entity pops up, something that they dub Vecna. That right there is a fairly surface-level description of the plot this season, but I'll touch on a few more elements as we move through this review. And it's feeling like the best way to structure this is probably to go character by character because there are so many important main players here. And you know what? Why not just kick this off with a major season stealer for me this time around? It's Sadie Sink's performance as Max. So remember when I said that some of the characters are having a tougher time coping than others? It should come as no surprise that Max is one of those characters after losing Billy. Sink is just doing so much heavy lifting with that storyline. She needs to tackle a good deal of action and horror-heavy elements due to what Max is going through, but it's also an especially complex emotional storyline for her as well, and she brings it to screen with such heart and nuance. Of these 7 episodes, I would say 4 is probably my favorite, and it's largely because of Sink's work in it. The end of that episode in particular just rocked me to my core because of how good she is in it all on her own. But it's also due to the fact that it really highlights what an exceptional job this show has done at building these characters as individuals, but also the connections between them. And I guess I'll already veer from my roll call format with that point because Stranger Things, I have to point out, is an extremely well-written show, and I think that's been quite apparent since the very beginning, but I do think that the benefits of that are on display in Season 4, maybe more so than ever. So Stranger Things 3, it came out in July of 2019. That's a good while ago with how much content we're all busy watching nonstop on a regular basis, and I was a little worried about feeling detached and distracted by the time Stranger Things 4 rolled around. And yeah, you could say, well then go rewatch the previous seasons, but I am a big believer that that should never be necessary, and I think Stranger Things 4 proves that not only is that very achievable, but there can be great benefits to considering that. Benefits that wind up making the new episodes far stronger than they would have been otherwise. Not only was I just totally sucked right back into this world in a flash, but Season 4 does an especially good job balancing the need for these characters to mature and move forward, but while always emphasizing how deeply that is connected to their past traumas. And it's done in a way that isn't like, hold on, let me remind you about this, but rather, the Season 4 narrative just calls for it. It feels so natural and also significantly contributes to the suspense level and the weight of certain things that happen in this show. All right, back to my character roll call now, but before I get to anyone specific, let me just point out, I think all of the storylines this season are rock solid, but some of them are a little stronger than others. And for me, the best material was the stuff that was playing out in Hawkins. Not only does Sink shine big time as Max, but so do Kayla MacLachlan, Gaten Matarazzo, Natalia Dyer, Maya Hawke, and Joe Keery. McLaughlin's situation, I think, proves especially vital this season because these are kids dealing with some pretty heavy stuff, but the things that Lucas is trying to juggle at the very beginning of the season is an especially effective reminder that they're still kids in high school, and he manages to sell that, but in a way that never feels less than, but rather feeds right into his actions during those life or death, upside down connected situations. There's a very delicate balance there that he navigates quite beautifully. Yet again, the connection between Dustin and Steve is an absolute joy to watch, but I also really appreciated the way that this season is testing that friendship. We get some really great scenes with Nancy and Robin that I really dug, and then of course there's still that tension between Steve and Nancy, and I was just especially moved by the sensitivity involved in digging into that. And you know, in general, I do tend to find that I can be a tougher sell with on-screen romance versus other elements of a story, but Stranger Things has navigated and evolved the relationships between Nancy and Steve, and also Max and Lucas, in some really refreshing and just hugely sincere ways. As for the folks outside of Hawkins now, I did find that Will, Jonathan, and Mike's storyline was, a little bit on the thinner side. But also, let's not forget, we're still getting 2 more episodes in July, and I would truly be very surprised if the show didn't make the most of what they've given us thus far and really stick the landing with those characters. And also, I say thinner, but it's still highly immersive and engaging material. And while the portion of the show focusing on Hopper isn't thin by any means, I do think that because the material playing out in Hawkins is just so strong, and he's so far away from them, that his situation does very much feel like a secondary storyline to me. So now, with what 11 is up to here, again, still great stuff. But that particular scenario, maybe more so than any of them actually, does feel especially hard to assess without seeing the full season. Her scenes do play a bit slower compared to the other characters, but it does feel necessary for what she's trying to process. And I also think it's a situation that proves that this show is damn lucky to have found someone like Millie Bobby Brown for that role. There are just countless moments where Brown's non-dialogue beats say just as much, if not more, than scenes where she's expressing her feelings out loud. I do really want to touch on some of the newer characters that we get in season 4, but this next thing does tie directly to 11's material, so I'll bring this up now. And it's pretty present throughout the show, but it's on display in season 4 big time with her. It's the value of the craftsmanship in Stranger Things. Given where 11 is, it is of the utmost importance that the folks behind the lens do everything in their power to keep those visuals dynamic, and they very much do that while also designing seemingly everything to further enhance Brown's performance. The cinematography in particular just pairs so seamlessly with Brown's work in nudging Elle forward, and it makes it especially powerful here. And, minus a few visual effects, heavy beats that aren't quite there, mainly in episode 7, the production value of this series is just through the damn roof. I've got to imagine Netflix is allocating a good deal of resources to one of their most popular series, and I'm going to go ahead and say that is money well spent, because I really do think you could see every single penny of it on screen. Back to the characters now briefly, because I do want to applaud 2 newcomers in particular. First is Mason Dye, who plays Jason, the captain of the basketball team. Perfect screen presence for a role like that. Jason's a showman who can command a crowd, and with Dye in that role, not only do I fully believe he could captivate a gymnasium full of kids at a high school pep rally, but also that he could truly impact how things progress as the situation gets darker and more dangerous. We've also got Joseph Quinn as Eddie Munson. He's the leader of the Hellfire Club. And, I know they already did this with Max and then Robin, but it still can't be easy to add new characters to this lovable group and have them feel so right and like you genuinely want them to be there with these other characters who you've grown attached to over many seasons. Quinn does manage to achieve that, and he does it in a way that feels like a right fit for the group, but also with a highly unique, one-of-a-kind personality, ensuring that he actually adds something and also stands out. All right, I think it's time to score this one. I am giving the first 7 episodes of Stranger Things 4.5 Deweys out of 5 on the Dewey Decimovie scale. Again, some storylines are stronger than others, but every single one of them, at the very least, is doing what it needs to do to be entertaining, engaging, and also add something worthwhile to the larger narrative. I am always binge watching shows, but these last 2 weeks, it feels like I consumed an especially large number of series, and many of them were very good. But watching so many different things in such close proximity to binging these new episodes of Stranger Things just like really solidified to me that the engagement and investment in this show is next level. The need to press next when you finish an episode has really always been there, and it's always been sky high throughout this series, and it is very much true here. And man, I just blew through these episodes, and now I am just absolutely dying to see those final two. I love these characters, I love this environment, and I love the storyline and how it's unfolding. All right, that's it. I'm cutting myself off there. If and when you watch, if you guys are watching it, Stranger Things Season 4, when it hits Netflix and you watch these first 7 episodes, hit the comment section below and share your own thoughts there. And you know I love playing this game, so tell me your favorite character of Stranger Things 4 thus far. And I'd be curious to know if that's changed from season to season. All right, before I let you go, Patreon shout out time, because I owe a very special group of people a Patreon shout out. They're my top tier team, and they are Luke, Logan, Nathan, Ian, Billy, and Evan. You guys are seriously some of the best of the best. I would not be able to do what I love without your support. You are instrumental to this YouTube channel and the Slack community, and I appreciate you so much for it. Big thanks to everybody out there watching this review. Like and share it before you go, and I'll see you soon with more of them.